This interview with Jude Law just revealed something huge about his character in the upcoming Star Wars live-action show, Skeleton Crew, as his character, who many fans think could be a Jedi who survived Order 66, might be way more intriguing than anyone imagined. And not only that, he might be a character that we can't trust.
I trusted you.
And with the very little that we know about this series, it is highly likely that a ton of twists and turns are coming our way with this next installment in the Mandoverse. Now, this interview comes from Rotten Tomatoes last weekend at D23. D23 is pretty much just Disney's version of a Comic-Con where we get updates and announcements about their IPs, from Pixar to Marvel to Star Wars and so on. Now, for Star Wars fans, D23 was a massive success. We got a teaser for Andor Season 2, a trailer for LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, and a teaser for the next Star Wars film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which doesn't come out until May of 2026. Nobody expected to see that. But last weekend is where we got the first official trailer for Skeleton Crew. And with that, we got this interview with Jude Law. But before we get to what Jude Law said about his character in this interview, let's talk about what the is the Skeleton Crew anyway? Well, this show will follow 4 teenage characters: Wim, KB, Fern, and Neil. Yes, Neil does look familiar because he is an Ortolan, the same species as the legendary Max Rebo of the Max Rebo Band. Are they related? I don't know, maybe. But these 4 kids will be the main characters of this Skeleton Crew show. They will be living on a seemingly safe home planet and find a ship. This ship will accidentally be activated and blast these 4 kids off into the dangerous Star Wars galaxy. And while they are trying to get home, they will come across friends and enemies. From pirates like the character Vane in The Mandalorian Season 3, who is set to return in this Skeleton Crew series, to maybe even a very famous pirate named Hondo Ohnaka, who was first introduced in the Clone Wars and has been seen since in Star Wars Rebels. Now, Hondo is just a fan dream of mine for now, but with all the pirates involved in this Skeleton Crew show, there is no better place to bring Hondo into live action. But tell me in the comments below if you want to see Hondo in this show. They will also come into contact with Jawas and probably some other people that aren't going to be very friendly. And that brings us to Jude Law's character. He's described to be playing a main character in this show named Jod Na Nawud. This series will be 8 episodes, so if he's a main character, he's most likely going to be in 6 or more episodes. And it has been confirmed from the trailer last weekend that Jod is a Force user. And this immediately had fans assuming that he was going to be a Jedi who survived Order 66. And a big reason for fans believing that is because one of the characters, Wim, turns around in the trailer and says,
"You're a Jedi."
But this interview with Jude Law revealed something way bigger than Jude Law just being a Jedi who survived Order 66, as Jod Na Nawud might not be the character we think he is. He might not even be a Jedi at all. Now you might be saying, Mike, we literally see him use the Force in the trailer. What the hell are you talking about? Let's get to this interview, shall we?
Who do you play in this whole universe, and how do you relate to these
So
kids?
I play a character called Jod. Well, that's one of his names.
Let's pause right there. He's really thinking about this question. The question is, who are you playing in Skeleton Crew? Shouldn't be that difficult to answer. But it is, because his character might have some twists and turns that we did not expect. Because we see him wield the Force, but that doesn't mean that he's a Jedi. He says his name is Jod, but he goes by many different names. What does that mean?
What does a bean mean?
And he is someone they meet and who is there to sort of try and help them back to their home planet. And you never quite know whether he's trustworthy, whether he isn't trustworthy, whether he's with one side or another. You never quite know.
Doesn't sound like a Jedi to me. He's saying that us as the audience will never quite know whether he's a good guy or not, whether he's really helping the kids or not. We've seen Jedi in this time period of the Skeleton Crew, the biggest one being Ahsoka Tano. Now let's forget about the fact that she didn't help Grogu, who is a child. I feel like if Ahsoka Tano came across 4 kids trying to get back to their home planet, she would help them out, and there would be no question as to whether or not she's a good guy or a bad guy. I think this Jod character might have a little bit more to him than we once thought.
But ultimately, he's a member of the crew. Some of them want him a part of it, some of them don't want him a part of it. I can't give too much away.
Of course.
But I don't want to. So yeah, I'm going to say he's full of contradictions.
Okay.
full of contradictions. Some of the kids don't even want him to be a part of the crew. There's clearly something going on here with this character of Jude, and he is definitely not what we think he is. Could he still be a Jedi who survived Order 66? Maybe. But Order 66 was almost 30 years before the events of this series. A lot can happen in 30 years to a guy who doesn't have the Jedi Order to rely on. But let's for a second say that he's not a Jedi who survived Order 66. Well, then how is he wielding the Force? Well, that leaves us with three options. One, he's a Sith Lord. Now, I think this is probably the least likely option. As we know, at this time in the Star Wars galaxy, there's only a few Sith Lords. I mean, technically there's only one, and it's Palpatine, and currently he's on Exegol trying to stay alive. But the rule of two has been put into effect, and it doesn't seem like Jude would be a Sith Lord, as he would have had to be trained by either Vader, Palpatine, Maul, Dooku, or somebody. And we've never seen this character before. Now, the second option is a little bit more interesting. Jude could be a Boken Jedi. Now, the phrase Boken Jedi was recently heard in the Ahsoka series. Baylan Skoll refers to Ezra Bridger as a Boken Jedi.
Bridger? No, he's too young. Comes from a breed of Boken Jedi trained in the wild after the temple fell.
A Boken Jedi is pretty much just a Jedi who was trained after Order 66, after the Jedi Order had fallen. So maybe, just maybe, Jude Law's character in this Skeleton Crew show was trained in the ways of the Force after the events of Order 66 by some other trained Jedi.
Possibly.
Now, the third option is that he was once an Inquisitor.
What did he say?
We've seen Inquisitors quite a bit throughout Star Wars, from the Kenobi show to the Jedi games to Rebels to most recently in Tales of the Empire. Now, there are a few of these Inquisitors that we haven't seen their faces yet, as they all wield the Force as they were once Jedi themselves. So is it possible that Jude Law's character in this upcoming Skeleton Crew was once an Inquisitor? And maybe he even left the Inquisitor Order because he knew that it was the wrong thing, just like we saw recently in Tales of the Empire with Barriss Offee. There are many different routes that they might go down with this Jude character, but this interview just revealed that he is not who we think he is. He might not even be an ally to these kids as he's trying to help them get home. And there might be some huge twists and turns coming our way in this Skeleton Crew show, which premieres on Disney Plus on December 3rd. But tell me what you think in the comment section below. Who do you think this Jude character is? A former Jedi from Order 66 or something else? And are you excited for this Skeleton Crew show? Tell me what you think in the comments below. And this is not the only trailer we got from last week. There was a teaser trailer that was not released publicly for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And wow, was that trailer awesome. But I break it all down in this video right here.